time of World War II, a little boy Syriza is playing on a tree while his mother is washing clothes and his brother Peter is fishing at the bank of a stream. Suddenly they saw a plane coming and his mother runs while asking him to come too, but he says he is not afraid and keeps sitting on a tree pretending to hit the plane with his catapult. His mother and brother got killed by the enemies when he returned to his home not knowing what happened to them. He is lying alone at his home all night when his aunt comes to take him to her house. She tells him that his mother and Peter are not coming back and he should come with her or else they will kill him too. Syriza says that his mother trusted him to take care of his house and he will not go anywhere else. His aunt quickly packs his clothes and says that he needs to understand that his mother is not coming back. As they are talking, they hear the soldiers coming. His aunt quickly helps him escape through the window. He manages to run from soldiers while his aunt gets killed by them. When he looks back while running, he sees all his neighborhood houses burning. He then runs away from there without looking back. He runs into the woods and gets lost there. He keeps crying for his mother but no one hears him and he spends the night there in the woods. In the morning he goes to the stream again and drinks water when he hears the soldiers coming. He quickly runs and hides under a little natural hideout made by trees. The soldiers sit at the bank of the stream and lit fire to cook food for themselves. Syriza is quietly sitting there when he sees a snake on the branch near him. He tries his best to muffle his screams and waits for the soldiers to go away. Luckily they soon go away from there and he runs out of his hideout, takes a box of something soldiers left behind, and runs into the woods again. He spends his next few days wandering into the woods eating leaves and drinking water only when it rains. He even hears firing and shoots but doesn't get scared. He almost passes out due to tiredness and sees a hedgehog near him. He talks to the animal and says that he should inform him about the boy to his people and then passes out in rain. A few soldiers are passing through the woods when they see the boy and bring him to their camp. When the commander sees the little boy, he quickly asks the men to put him on a bed and worriedly says that war between the men and children like him should not get affected by him. Syriza asks them if the hedgehog told them about him. The commander laughs and says yes, the animal told them about him, and then asks him about his name and his family. He tells them that his name is Syriza and his aunt told him that his mother and brother are not coming back. He starts crying after telling them about their family, but the commander consoles him and says that men don't cry and he is a brave man, he should not cry. They take him to the medical camp where a nurse took care of him. She carefully checks his wounds and says that she will draw a flower for him on his belly, but he says that don't like flowers and she should instead draw a tank. He asks the nurse about the commander and the people who brought him. She tells him that they are scouts and the commander is Kuznetsov, who is very brave and he will teach a lesson to everyone in the war. Another nurse comes and tells her that wounded soldiers are coming in, so she leaves Syriza's side after asking him to close his eyes and sleep. The next day Commander Kuznetsov comes to meet Syriza. The boy tells him that he will also be a commander when he grows up and he is not afraid of anything. He keeps questioning the commander about different things and even asks to see his pistol. The boy shows him his tank drawing and draws a plane on the cast commander is wearing on his injured arm. When the commander comes outside, the nurse says that they have a lot of resources and food here, so instead of sending Syriza to an orphanage they should keep him here. The commander doesn't agree and says that this place is not for children and he will have to go to an orphanage. The scouts often come to meet him at the medical camp. The nurse who is taking care of him shows his worries about the boy and says to his fellow nurse that she never cried, but when she sees the boy and hears his suffering she wants to cry. When the commander comes back to his tent, another scout comes to him and says that all the soldiers love the boy because they have children at home like him, so they should let him stay here. The commander says that he understands them and also feels love for the little boy, but they shouldn't keep him here because he will get attached and after the war, it will be difficult for him to go back to the orphanage. As they are talking they get attacked by German tanks. They defend themselves and after taking out the damage, commander goes to the boy again. He tells Syriza that a car has come to pick him up but didn't have the heart to tell him where he is going. The boy doesn't pay his words much attention and just hugs him tightly, saying that he was worried about him being killed. After the boy's selfless action, commander couldn't bear to send him away and tore away the notice and asks the boy if he want to become his son. He keeps Syriza with him as his son. Soldiers are very excited to hear that the boy is staying and bring their old uniform and shoes to the tailor Sonny, who then cut it short to Syriza's size. The next morning when the commander gives the uniform to Syriza, he is ecstatic to wear it and runs to show everyone his uniform. His trip gets cut short as they get attacked by an airstrike. The commander quickly says to take Syriza to the dugout while the soldiers try to fight. After the strike, the boys run into the camp where the injured soldiers are being treated and ask everyone about Katya, the nurse and commander. He is worried about the commander's life and says that he got killed when a soldier picks him up and says that he should not talk about killing and that everyone should be sure of victory. The boy stops his search after hearing that and goes to help the injured. He gives water to the injured and reads letters to them even though he can't read, and even sings a song. Soldiers are happy with his actions to cheer them up and their minds momentarily get away from the horrible effects of war. Later the boy is sleeping in Katya's lap when the commander comes back. They let him sleep and keep talking among themselves. He soon wakes up after hearing them and is relieved to see the commander alive. When they are going back to their tank, Syriza says that he wants to thank the person who fixed his uniform for him. But when they go there, he is shocked to see that the whole place has been wiped out by a bomb last night. The commander says that everyone should say thanks in time and then takes him to their tent. The boy is well settled in the field and introduces himself as the commander's right hand. To keep him busy and happy, commander gives him the mission to receive the mail and deliver it to the soldiers. The man who brings the mail easily gives the letters to the boy and shares with him that the soldiers will even dance for him to take their letters. He takes the letter to soldiers and asks some of them to dance for him, and they happily obliged his request. Later he goes into the woods and takes the binoculars he got as a gift from soldiers at the medical camp. He is just wandering around looking at different things when he sees a leg in a haystack. He runs back to their camp and tells a soldier and Dre about that. They are not very sure if he saw something, but they decide to go check anyway. When they reach there, Andre tells Syriza to stay behind while they go to check. They send a smoke bomb inside the stack, which forces the 2 German soldiers hiding there to come outside. When they successfully catch the soldiers, Syriza says that he has done his duty and he is busy and has to deliver mail, so he will leave it to them. He excitedly goes to deliver letters, but when he reaches there, he finds that the soldier who dances for him has been killed. He silently goes back to the commander's tent. When he reaches there, they appreciate him for what he has done and they caught the soldiers with his help. The commander then tells him that he has done all the paperwork and he is now officially his son. Syriza happily hugs his now dad and says that they have to go tell Katya about it, tells the commander that he saw her crying earlier when the commander was injured. He is reluctant, but Syriza drags him there. They find Katya at the edge of the lake talking to another soldier. The commander sends Syriza forward and go away himself. Later, the war is at its peak again when they find that their connection has been cut for some reason. Syriza hears them talking and silently goes into the battlefield. He finds the man who was fixing the connection, lying there injured. The soldier tells him to connect the wires and he successfully does that, and they successfully connect to another base. Later, he doesn't quit his efforts and tries his best to make Katya and the commander together. He goes and tells her that his dad is seriously ill. She comes running only to find that Syriza made that up. She runs away from there while the commander goes to follow her. He catches up to her after a long chase and asks her if she wants to be Syriza's mother. Before she could properly answer, a soldier comes and gives a letter from Division HQ to the commander telling them that they will be setting off tomorrow. They pack up from there and start their journey. They stop at different places and lost some more precious lives as they get attacked on the way. They are stopping at a place for a while and Syriza asks the general's permission for Katya's and commander's marriage, which he happily agrees to. Later that night, Syriza is walking with his dad and asks him if he will be awarded too, as he is also a soldier. Commander assures him that it will happen. As they are talking, suddenly the bomb drops there, which heavily injures the commander. Luckily his life is safe, and when the next day Syriza goes to meet him, he asks him to don't cry because men never cry. When the war is over, the little soldier gets awarded for his contributions and goes back to his country with his newfound family.